If you're rich, you send your kid to Exeter or Harrow. If you're really rich, you bring the education to them. Private tutors, private everything. But if you're a king, an oil dynasty, or a family that doesn't just have money, they have gravity, you send your child to Switzerland. Welcome to Institut La Rosey, the place that's been called the School of Kings. La Rosey's famous alumni reportedly include King Albert II of Belgium, the Shah of Iran, Prince Rainier of Monaco, and King Farouk of Egypt. From the outside, it looks like Hogwarts with a ski lift, a chateau on Lake Geneva, and then a winter migration up to Gstaad, like the whole school is a traveling court. But La Rosey isn't just a school, it's a social engineering machine, built to take the children of the global 0.1% and turn them into a coherent class that recognizes itself anywhere on Earth. Why is La Rosey the most expensive school on Earth? Because it doesn't have a campus. It has two, and it treats geography like a feature. In spring and autumn, students live on the main estate in Rolle, 28 hectares on Lake Geneva, anchored by a 14th-century chateau and wrapped in facilities that make normal schools look like budget airlines. Courts, pools, stables, sailing. Kids learning to skipper 30-foot yachts like it's driver's ed. It looks like paradise, which is exactly the point. You're meant to forget the real product isn't education, it's access. Then January arrives, the lake turns gray, the fog comes in, and La Rosey does something no normal institution can even attempt. It moves. Since 1916, the entire school relocates to its winter campus to the ski resort Gstaad. Students, staff, the machinery of elite life, shifting uphill like a migrating court. And once they're there, the schedule quietly reveals what's really being trained. Academics in the morning, and then afternoons structured around the mountain. Because at La Rosey, skiing isn't a hobby, it's curriculum. Not go play, not take a break. Shut it down. Hit the slopes. Ultimately, this place isn't raising students. It's rehearsing a ruling class, one that learns early that the world moves for them. This isn't just about fun. La Rosey wraps it in concept of healthy mind in a healthy body. But that's the official story. The subtext is more precise. They're teaching a lifestyle of power, so it feels natural, automatic, inherited. If you're going to grow up to be a diplomat, an oligarch, a minister, a king, then you need to be fluent in the spaces where power relaxes. You need to know how to move through resort towns without feeling like a tourist. You need to read the unspoken rules. Who sits where? Who speaks first? What a handshake means when it happens in a lobby instead of a boardroom. Because places like Gstaad aren't just ski resorts. They're soft power arenas where relationships form, loyalties are tested, and future favors get planted like seeds. And at La Rosey, you learn those slopes before you can even drive a car. Not just so you can ski, but so you can belong. The luxury isn't the interesting part. If you have money, you can buy luxury anywhere. The real secret of La Rosey is the quota system, a rule so coldly effective it gives the whole school its magic. La Rosey strictly limits any one country, or even linguistic region, to no more than 10% of the student body, because the administration knows what happens when one nationality dominates. The rich just recreate their home country in miniature. Same language, same cliques, same loyalties. The quota prevents that. It forces collisions. It means an oligarch's son can't simply live inside a familiar bubble. He's pushed into rooms with heirs from Brazil, Japan, Britain, Nigeria, wherever the money lives. And because La Rosey runs a deliberately English-French bilingual academic model, everyone is trained to share a common operating system. 2 languages, 1 elite social code. What it produces isn't global citizenship in the kumbaya sense. It produces global recognition. A generation that learns early that their real peer group isn't their nation, it's their net worth. And yes, the academics are real. La Rosey offers rigorous tracks like the International Baccalaureate, and students go on to top universities. But let's be honest, you don't pay $160K a year for calculus. You pay for what the French call savoir-vivre, the hidden curriculum of class and control. Discipline is surprisingly strict. If you are rude to a cleaner, you are punished. If your room is messy, you are punished. They have random drug tests. If you fail, you are expelled immediately. It doesn't matter if your dad is a sultan, you are gone. They are trying to beat the arrogance out of the new money kids and teach them the discreet, understated power of old money. They are teaching them that true power doesn't need to shout. Rosey is a boarding school where a typical weekday starts early. Students wake at 7 a.m. to get ready, tidy their rooms, and head down for a buffet breakfast. The academic morning then runs until 12:20 p.m. with 6 class periods and a mid-morning break, famously for hot chocolate. Lunch is a formal affair featuring a whole school assembly for announcements and reflection. The day continues in a structured rhythm, with afternoon activities on the Roll campus and snow and ice sports such as skiing and other winter activities on the winter campus. Evenings return to a classic boarding school routine, with dinner followed by supervised study time and/or organized activities. Dinner isn't just dinner, it's training. Formal dress is expected, blazer and tie for boys. Rigid customs, fixed seating, and adults at the table, because the point isn't food, it's rehearsal. You're taught how to make conversation with someone you dislike, how to perform warmth while calculating power, because in 10 years that person might not just be a classmate, they might be a minister, a monarch, a CEO, and you'll already have their number. There is also a fascinating friction here between new money and old money. A lot of the students come from new money. Their fathers made billions in crypto or oil or tech in the last 20 years. They show up in Gstaad wearing Balenciaga logos, driving Ferraris, acting flashy. Rosey sees its job as polishing these rough edges. Security at Rosey is intense, and for many families, that level of protection isn't just for show. With students coming from extremely high-profile, high-net-worth backgrounds, kidnapping and coercion are treated as real, credible risks rather than distant hypotheticals. The school's approach reflects that reality. Access is tightly controlled, movement is monitored, and layers of safeguards are built into daily routines, transportation, and visitor procedures. The perimeter feels more like a secure compound than a typical school boundary. In practice, the campus is guarded like an embassy, quiet, controlled, and designed to prevent vulnerabilities before they appear. At Rosey, the prefects, student leaders, help run the dorms, and their authority can feel surprisingly real in daily life. They set the tone, enforce expectations, and act as a bridge between students and adults, which can create a miniature system of hierarchy and influence. For some, it becomes a kind of training ground in power, learning how to persuade, command respect, and manage conflicts with people your own age. You also learn to read a room, build alliances, and survive shifting social currents. If you can handle Rosey's politics at 16, the UN can seem straightforward. It sounds glamorous, but there is a dark side. Imagine the pressure. You are 15 years old. Your roommate is a prince. Your father is expecting you to take over a conglomerate worth $100 billion, and you are stuck in a boarding school in the mountains with no escape. You are in a golden cage, and the competition is fierce, not just for grades, but for status. Who has the better chalet? Who has the better vacation plans? There is a hierarchy here. So is it worth it? Is it worth spending close to $1 million on high school? If you judge it like a normal parent, grades, test scores, academics, the ROI is hard to justify. But if you judge it the way the ultra-wealthy judge everything, access, then yes. Because the real product isn't the curriculum, it's the alumni network. Rosey's Alumni Association, the AIAR, isn't famous in the way Harvard is famous. It doesn't need to be. There are only a few thousand living alumni, and they call themselves Roseans. The point isn't that they all know each other, it's that they recognize each other. Same winters, same rules, same dinners, same code. It creates a bond that doesn't feel like networking. It feels like a passport. When a Rosean needs an introduction, a favor, a door opened, they don't cold email. They check the directory. And if enough of the people in enough of the right rooms share the same background, that directory becomes a quiet form of power. That's what you're buying. Not education, membership. A lifetime subscription to a class that doesn't just inherit wealth, it inherits each other. Rosey is the ultimate paradox. Incredible privilege, wrapped in strict discipline, diversity that spans the globe but never crosses the wealth line. It doesn't create elites, it prevents them from ever becoming anything else. So the next time you see a king, a billionaire, a diplomat skiing in Gstaad, take a closer look. They might not just be friends, they might be products of the same factory. And they've been rehearsing that friendship since they were 14. Class dismissed.